the danger program, the possibility of equipping all airports with special equipment, which is currently only available at Moscow's Domodedovo, is being seriously considered. It is something similar to a lie detector, although its creators do not call their creation that. In fact, it is a real sensation. It is no secret that both in the USSR and the USA, there was active development of psychotronic weapons. Sensational discoveries were made in strictly classified laboratories. And it was in our country that a way was discovered not only to penetrate a person's subconscious, but even to correct it. In Russia, the method of psychoprobing has already begun to be applied, although without a legislative framework. Here are just some possibilities of the unique method: treatment of alcoholism and drug addiction, detection of terrorists, wide use in forensics.
What is psychoprobing? Anna Nelson tested it on herself.
These shots were filmed in the late 1990s. They are being shown on Russian television for the first time. The corridor of one of Moscow's hospitals, intensive care. What will happen here, many will call fantastic.
Before drugs, we are all slaves. We are all the same. That's how our chemistry is arranged. If you refuse them, you perform a feat.
Yes, here. And always remember this. You should be proud of it. You must endure. You can't escape it. Don't rush to start.
The patient is given a dose of anesthesia that only disconnects their consciousness, and then they are artificially induced into a state of stress. They will experience confusion, aggression, and see the deathly horror of a drug addict. It's as if his subconscious is imprinted with his own beliefs. Drugs are evil, parents and loved ones, a peaceful life. Today, Anton is a nice guy with 2 higher education degrees. He recalls standing on the edge of a heroin abyss 9 years ago as a terrible nightmare.
People are used to, for example, when getting treated, feeling something. A pill, like taking a pill, but here it seems like you don't eat anything. No IVs are given to you. I remember at first it felt like I had grown wings.
Writers mocked the analogy, the psychoprobe. They called it a mind reader. For now it's science fiction, but I think that someday it will be used to read thoughts.
It all started in this Moscow basement of the first medical institute. In the late 70s, a laboratory was opened here, headed by a young scientist, Igor Smirnov. The work on the government order was super classified, so no one knew that in '82, Dr. Smirnov's group found direct access to the depths of the human subconscious and decoded it.
In certain circles, it was rumored that Dr. Smirnov invented psychotronic weapons.
Atomic energy is used in 2 ways, but first, nevertheless, they made a bomb and only then a nuclear power plant. And for us, it turned out the opposite. So my colleagues and I, we make weapons. Of course, these are weapons for fighting human diseases.
To understand what this discovery might mean, I sit in front of the computer, put headphones on my head and a sensor on my finger.
Be attentive. If you are ready, press the button. The procedure will begin.
So psychoprobing begins. A set of different numbers pulses on the monitor. Numbers are what I can see, but I cannot see the main thing, the words flashing under the numbers. And it is precisely these that my brain registers, bypassing consciousness. In the headphones there is pleasant music, but the voice embedded in it, which constantly asks questions, is heard only by the subconscious. In 30 minutes they will show me a picture of my soul. The experiment was conducted so that later, as the genre demands, the results could be publicly announced. But the computer turned out to be a scalpel, revealing such personal details of my life that they wouldn't fit as a universal horoscope for any of these passers-by. It only remains to state, the computer managed to retrieve from the archives of my memory the details of my birth history, known until now only to my mother, my inclinations, secrets from my childhood, my attitude towards life, and what I fear the most.
Do you know what psychoprobing is?
Is this what they use to treat the insane, Doctor?
Not only that. Also criminals to heal their minds or change what makes them steal and kill.
The Krasnodar police had been hunting this man for a long time. He is responsible for several murders, but the investigation is at a dead end. Specialists from the closed Special Department of Psychophysiological Research of the main Directorate of Internal Affairs of the Krasnodar territory are brought in for the investigation. This is the only unit in the world that works according to Dr. Smirnov's methods. Specialists create an individual program for the psychoprobing of the suspect. Sitting at the computer, he doesn't even realize that he's answering specific questions not only about the murders, but also on other topics.
We received the relevance of the topic of terrorism on the psychoprobe, and kidnapping people and arms trafficking. That is a lot of information that we previously did not suspect.
The results of the psychotronic probing are then verified by the operatives. They are no longer surprised that the facts are confirmed. The same method was used to check local police officers, after which some had to part with their epaulets. However, the subconscious of those in power cannot lie either. The governor of Krasnodar asked to study the moral character of his new administration.
The results were impressive. Half of those who offered their services as heads of departments and administrations of the region simply did not meet the professional qualifications for such positions. Dr. Smirnov's psychotechnologies are already being prepared for implementation at Moscow's Domodedovo airport.
The pre-flight test for passengers called anti-terror was one of the first to be tried by our operator. With each new mosaic image appearing on the monitor, he had to press a button. His reaction speed determined his attitude towards the encoded topics: militant, bomb, leader, terrorist attack. This is how the images look in an uncoded form. Based on the test results, our operator would confidently be allowed on the plane.
There is a certain tendency towards approaching the threshold of credibility on the topic of the terrorist attack.
The topic of terrorist attacks is truly painful for Boris. Through the camera lens, he saw the Beslan school shooting and Nordost. When the whole world was watching the events at Dubrovka, the operational headquarters invited scientists. They were a married couple, Igor Smirnov and Elena Rusalkina, who knew how to encode commands to reduce the aggression of militants and embed them into any sound.
We could destabilize the situation in the hall in a maximum of 2 hours. In doing so, none of those present would be harmed, including the terrorists who could be put on trial.
Listen, said the resident, with the psychoprobe we won't harm you. You're just too excited and anxious. I'll just remove the anxiety.
Half a century ago, science fiction writers predicted the emergence of a psychoprobe. America, without access to the subconscious, has already managed to insure itself with 1,000 information security laws. In Russia, the laws were written by the creators of the psychoprobe themselves, but they were never adopted. In the scientist's office, there are many patents hanging, most of which have no analogues in the world and are listed only under secret numbers. However, almost no one even knew that Igor Smirnov passed away 5 months ago. But the voice of the great scientist continues to speak through his programs.
Open your inner world and trust it completely like a child.
Anna Nelson, Boris Leonov, Viktor Mozalevsky. Program Week, Moscow, Krasnodar.